Welcome, everyone, to the next perfect step, where all possibilities lie in conversation. I'm your co host, Laurie Mullen.
And I'm your co-host, Laurie Tremblay. Laurie and I are both energy practitioners, and we enjoy conversations with people about holistic practices and creativity. Today, I'm so excited because a very good friend of mine, Katherine McAuliffe, is on the show with us. She owns professional pet services in Salem, Mass, and she's wonderful with animals. She has an advanced degree in social psychology, so she loves to be able to communicate with animals and people and her clients. So welcome, Katherine. So happy to see you.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me. It's a privilege, so
You and I have been friends for a long time.
I know.
So Katherine is also a piano player. I've been her piano coach for a while, and we have
I
weekly
know.
meetings, and we have that's how we met. And then when I lived in Salem, we used to go to your house, and we'd have all the dogs, and they would just love the music. So, um,
Yes.
why don't you tell us a little bit how you got started and with your professional pet services?
Sure. It's funny. I've always been interested in kind of working with animals. You know, when I was a little kid, you always think you want to be a vet until you realize what vets do. And, I didn't quite have an aptitude for blood and gore. So I started, like I said, in human resources. And I don't know, the job was just kind of going flat. And I wanted to take a break. I was also having some like carpal tunnel issues, so typing and being online wasn't for me. And a rehab person, a PT person, mentioned about getting more physical and being outside and moving around. So when I quit my job, I had to let my dog walker go, who was walking my dog. And she's like, "Well, do you want to work for me?" I'm like, okay. So I just started off working, for her. And then she moved and wanted to get married. So she asked if I'd manage it while she, moved away. And then at some point it was getting kind of hard. She wanted to start her own business, so she just sold it to me. So I don't really have an entrepreneur gene, but I thought, why not? I've got, wasn't quite sure where my next step was going to be. I had just gotten married. So why not start and the business was all together. It was wonderful. I could bring my dog to work. I had a few employees, websites, so it was all kind of pretty easy to step into. And then like 20 years later, like how am I still doing the same job? It doesn't feel like it's been that long, but it's been, you know, wonderful working for myself, working with animals, which is what I've always wanted. So I don't know, just, sometimes things just fall into place. You don't really choose it, but the paths just open up and I don't know. Now I'm a dog walker.
So that's kind of the premise of our show too. The next perfect step, just like
Yeah.
allowing what's coming next, and then all these synchronicities happen, and you just you're following your passion is what you're doing, which is
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah. And if you just, open yourself up to it, I think. And it's been a blast, honestly. I've always had a dog, so I'm always taking a dog to work, and, they're always around me. I mean, sometimes I have 7 dogs running around my house. It's, or I'm in a field somewhere with, 5 dogs running around and interacting, and animals are fun. They're kind of like small kids. They're they've got a lot of energy. They're playful. They're curious. So just watching them, I feel like I'm sort of like a field on observing them, watching them interact and communicate with each other and work things out. And I think that's where the psychology part is fun for me to, like I said, it's interesting to figure out how they communicate and then also communicating with them. So it's
Mhm.
that's kind of that's kind of how I got into it, and then that's probably why I've stayed in it. Um, so
I find it really interesting how 'cause I have a cat, Indy, as you know, and Lori
yes.
has a couple of cats as well. But it's
Oh,
like
good.
we can communicate with them so much because my cat talks, but he's also just the body language, the
Yes.
just the love, just I mean everyone that has a pet has experienced the companionship and the
Mhm.
family. So But I also like, taking a little bit further, like to go outside and watch the birds and sort of like
Oh, yeah.
communicate with them. So what is your thought about, communicating with, how do you do it?
Well, I think I was thinking about this last night after I emailed you that, your pet and my pet and probably yours as well, Lori, they watch us a lot. So that's how they figure out what's going to happen next, especially a dog. You'll pick up your keys. They know, oh, I'm going somewhere. Or they pick up the leash, we're going out. Your cat, you probably walk over to a treat jar or you pull out a can and you open it. So they spend their whole wake time watching you. But I do the same with them, trying to figure out what they're trying to, communicate with me. Dugan's pretty obvious. When he wants to play, he grabs a squeaky toy. Or this morning, he decided to take my shoe and run into, because he knows I'm going to chase him to get my shoe back. So, but he's not trying to be bad. He wants to play. So he's trying to figure out how to tell me, I'd like to play right now. And so I sort of listen and look for these little signals. And even when they're sick, you probably notice when your cat is sick, you might not be able to like write it all down or list it, but you can just see something's not right. They're not moving as well, or they're not meowing as much, or so it's kind of, that's how I feel the communication is. I mean, certainly with dogs, there's a lot of words we teach them. Sit, stay, come. Your cat probably knows, here, kitty, kitty, want a treat, or, their name. So I think that's what I think about the communication between us and them. But yeah, if you watch for it, you can see what they're trying to tell you. So when they're nervous or anxious or definitely happy, sad, sick. So again, I spend a lot of time with animals. So like I said, I do watch them a lot. I even once had, I found some baby squirrels that, their eyes were still closed. So I, nursed them, to full size. But I would spend hours up there trying to figure out just what they were doing, trying to understand them. And I'd let them, kind of weird, letting them climb all over me. But they're trying to figure me out. One of them would run up and bite me. I think they just wanted to see what I was. So obviously when I yelped, they ran off. So my husband used to laugh. He's like, you've been up there for an hour and a half. What have you been doing? I'm like, I think I've just been sitting there watching them. And they were so cute. So yeah, it's definitely a passion. So.
Well, it shows, that's for sure.
Thanks.
Yeah, well, I know like my cats, I think it's amazing. Like I live in an apartment building and neighbors can come in and out all day long. But if one of the family members in my house comes, the cats instantly know and they go right to the door.
Yeah.
It's amazing whether they know the car or the step. They have an instinct of knowing that one of us is coming home, that it's
Yeah.
one of us. And like I said, they could be sound asleep, not a care in the world, people in and out all the time. But if one of us is walking through that door, they're up and out the door. They instantly know.
Yeah. Yeah. They know who their people are.
Mhm.
So, and especially cats. I mean, they have a pride. They like to, be together. So they know, and they know who they can trust. That's they're not going to have any harm from anyone in your family. So they instinctively, it's great, right? I suppose we're the same way. We know who we can trust too, and who we open up
Right.
to. Laurie, we've been friends a long time. It's a friendship. You grow over time and you get more comfortable with each other. So the same with the animals. Dugan, I have one woman who works for me who stays here when I go out of town. When he sees her, he goes mad, like she's his owner. So he's like, I know you are, I can trust you as much as I trust my owner. So he's thrilled to death when he sees her. So
Oh,
they're so nice, aren't they? The way animals, I don't know, they always appreciate us. That unconditional love people talk about with animals, but they really do it. They never take us for granted. They get excited. My dog, after I feed him, will come over and lick my hand. It's a subtle little communication, but it makes me, if you look for it, it's like I feel like he's thanking me. I mean, certainly sometimes I could get the communication wrong, but But it seems like it's his way of, he'll lick me and then he'll sit next to me and kind of lean against me. It's just those little tiny things make me happy. So,
Absolutely.
and cats too. I take care of a lot of cats, and you'll get some very shy ones that it'll take so long for them to come out and trust you. But once you do, they'll never forget you, even if it's years and I haven't seen them. They'll come out for me because they remember me. So they've got some, it's important for survival to remember things like that for them and for us too. But it's a wonderful thing to connect with them.
And sometimes I think we underestimate the ability of animals because I just think they're amazing. And I just think we don't realize how amazing they are sometimes. Just
Right.
Well, I think they're teachers, right? I mean, I think
Yes.
everything's here to teach us something, but especially animals. I mean, like with dogs and cats, that unconditional love, the gratitude that they have, that they, are reliant on us to a point, and yet we're reliant on them.
Right, that's
And
true.
there's so many other, there's so many different lessons that animals are out there to teach us. And I think each one has their own lesson for us to learn from.
Right.
Yeah, which I think is amazing. And if you watch an animal, you can find what, the lesson that you need within the animal that's presenting itself.
Right. Yeah, I think it's the simple things that I was actually kind of writing them down, but, patience, like you have to train a dog, you need a lot of patience. To raise a dog or a kitten, sometimes they wake you up in the middle of the night meowing so I thought patience. And what was the other one I thought? They wake up every day in a good mood. Yeah, sometimes you're tired or grumpy, but they're like, yes, it's morning. Yay, where are we going? Like every single day is Christmas morning for the dog, and the cats, the same thing. I've always had cats that kind of slept with me. We don't do that sometimes. You think of it, got a long day or a busy day, but, to appreciate every single day that you have is something that I constantly have to remind myself when I'm with, and my dog does remind me.
there is a moment.
Yeah, live in the
You're
moment.
fully present.
Yes, I have a little card upstairs that has a dog on it. It's a card some friend of mine, each one has kind of a little saying to help you through the day. And I have it stuck on be patient with a dog, and it has a picture of a dog. It's like, yes, they're patient, and living in the moment are important, I think, for all of us to do. But need constant reminding, but they don't. Isn't that amazing?
That's right.
Yes.
Do you have any stories about some things that might have happened during when you were taking care of funny stories or anything like that?
But
Sprung that on you, sorry.
oh no, I have tons of little stories of things. Trying to think of a good one. The only one I can think of is this squirrel one, because I brought up those squirrels I haven't. Humpty and Bumpty, I named them. But like when I would be sitting in there, one of them would climb up to my shoulder, and then I had the cage next to me, and he kept climbing up my shoulder and going over here, and then he'd run down, climb up, run down, and look around. I was trying to figure out, what is he trying to do? And I think we finally did it. He climbed around me and then jumped on the cage where I had left the avocado. So he was practicing like a running, no, didn't have, he was doing it over and over again. And he finally figured out, I can make it. And he was just trying to get to the avocado. So I always thought that was kind of a neat little thing. That's when I sat there for probably like an hour watching them climb up.
That's pretty cool.
But the dogs that I think of, I love watching them play. My favorite thing is to take a group of dogs to a field, a fenced-in field that I found, and let them all run around. But on Fridays, I know they're all kind of more chill, more relaxed. And, well, they'll play for a while, but then they just kind of lie down. One will grab a stick. So I'll sit down, and they'll all kind of gather all around me. And I've even done this at Forest River Park when I've had 4 dogs. I'm tired, so I sit down. they all have one here. They're all leaning, one of here. Someone will just lick me here. And I always think that's one of my favorite moments of like, okay, Friday's my slow down day. They want it too. And they found a way to tell me, we don't have to play or, drive us around. Let's just chill. And, they look around. You can see they're smelling the air, watching the birds, checking out the squirrels, looking at people. And so I always think of that as like one of my favorite moments with dogs and something they taught me, slowing down, relax, and live in the moment. And so I could go on and on. There's so many little things that happen. So, and I think I've told you some with Dugan, my dog, when he was a puppy and during our piano lessons, and how he was afraid of the piano and I'd have to turn it down really low. And then slowly he started laying right next to the piano. I think he ended up liking the music, or I got better. I'm not sure which.
No, I remember some of the dogs used to lay on your feet. And,
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they like the music.
I think they do. I mean, much better now, thanks to you. So, but yeah, I think every day I take hundreds of pictures. I send little report cards to each one of the clients, and I try to find a really good photo of kind of that represents the day. But you get some incredible shots of dogs. Even when you're not looking, I'll take 4 or 5 pictures. And then when I go through, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. They're flying through the air, or they'll have pure joy on their face while they're running. They're almost like, I know dogs don't smile, but there's like a happiness in them that I don't know, it's contagious, I guess. Yeah, so yeah, every day I think there's something that makes me smile or laugh. So. Or learn.
So good to have a job that you can just be joyful and just love every moment of it. And you're very fortunate. I'm glad that you have that opportunity. It's important.
It is, I think, but I need reminders, some days you're in a hurry and like rushing around. I'll have, a ridiculous amount of animals I have to take care of. And not to rush to get done with the day. I'd like to enjoy every minute. So it's a constant reminder, and it's like a practice to try to, relax and just, be and enjoy every minute, because, you never know what's next, right? So live in the moment, especially if it's a good moment.
Yes. So I know that you love to travel, you and Matt, and wondered what you do with the animals when you're traveling. I live vicariously through you, by the way.
Yes, okay, I know. My problem is, I think of all my favorite things to do is, I love being around dogs. I love cleanliness, like I'm tidy, and I love traveling. These things don't all mesh together. I don't like to leave my dog, but I love traveling. So finding someone that you trust, which is, now I understand what my clients want. I want them to be happy. I don't want them to miss me, and I want them to have a good time. So I'm fortunate that 2 of his siblings live in Salem. So often he visits them. He's known them his whole life. He's known the owners. So it's, we interchange our dogs. So they're very comfortable. And then I also have an employee that has like a student that comes over and stays at the house with them. Like I said, he adores her. So much so that when I thought it was so interesting. I came in after a walk, and Dugan was sniffing all over the place. And he walked over kind of sniffing around and tail wagging. He was all excited. And so I texted Carrie. I'm like, were you in my house? She comes and gets the keys. And she goes, oh yeah, I just stopped by to pick up a key. I'm like, Dugan smelled you. And just your smell made him happy. So I trust that I'm going away this week. He's going to have a great time with Carrie. And that makes me relax when I travel. I don't worry about him. He's having a good time away from me, and I'm having a good time. So it's something I now understand what my clients want as well, so that they feel, they can relax and have a good time on their trip. But it is hard. I love traveling. I really don't want to go away sometimes. So
You have to have them send you pictures.
Yes, and I do. I put her on the, and they send a report card to me. And I'm just like my clients. When an email comes through, I'm like, ooh, his report card came in. Let's see what he did. And look at the pictures. So yeah, it's probably a good idea that I am my client. So But yeah, that
How
makes it
many,
for me to travel.
how many clients do you have at the moment?
I have six right now. I hired one just about last week, and she's in training. So, and I think that
Oh,
should
you
be
mean,
good. You
you,
always need extra people because, they travel or get sick or um, I've, and they're all wonderful people. I mean, they definitely have a passion for animals and experience, and I think they love the job too. It's very independent work, and like I said, it's a lot of fun to play with animals. I mean, I can't believe we get paid for this.
you're so lucky. It's wonderful.
Yeah,
Lori, do you have any other questions or I know you've been, I didn't know if you had any questions, Lori.
yeah,
Yeah, no, I just, yeah, I think that, it's wonderful, like you said, that, it's amazing that we can do something we love and get paid for it, right? I mean, I
yeah.
think that we should all be that lucky,
I
right?
know, right?
We get to do something we're passionate about, and passion doesn't mean every moment. Like you said, like there are days where you're rushing through the day and you want to get through it, and yet to be in the moment of getting to be grateful that you're doing a job and getting paid for something you really enjoy.
Right.
And it's a benefit to both, right? The animals aren't home alone or anything like that. So it's a give and take, both. And like what you said about that you got to experience what your clients wanted. I think that that's really important for a business owner is to get to understand and reciprocate the same things they're looking for that you got to experience. And I think that that's, wonderful. I think that animals are extremely healing too. I mean, if you think about when you're sick or something, they come and they lay down beside you and they just be with you, right? They're not looking to be patted or for, attention from you. They just want to be next to you. And I find them so incredibly healing,
I agree.
tender and compassionate when you need something too.
Mhm.
And I think that that's amazing. Yeah.
No, I forgot about that. I think they're more in tune to our energy than we are probably, or not you two. You guys probably are more, but they do sense when you're sad or when you need something, and so they go, like the pack does. They just come together, and I think that's one of the things you're supposed to do with if your dog has. Um, I don't know, some sort of trauma, maybe had surgery, is to get him back with the pack. So if he has dog friends or, his family, just being back with them rejuvenates the mind and relaxes and calms them. So they're just doing the same thing with you. I think they want to be near you, and their calm energy, is supposed to help you. And it certainly does. Just having a pet snuggle with you, or I love having a cat lay in my lap. I'll be stuck at a client's house because the cat's like, I can't move. Kitty's in my lap. So
It's a good thing.
it is a good thing, and it's warm, and I think they feel it too. And it's a give and take. So yeah, animals are wonderful, I think, or pets.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a relationship, and a mutual relationship, one that they teach you, just they're amazing. Yeah. Really beautiful relationship between an owner and an animal, or it's friendship, right?
Right. It is kind of amazing we just have these creatures in our house, isn't it? Not a cow. There's no cows or goats in our house, but we have these other animals, and they do. We just connect so well with them. And so,
And what Lori said was when your animals come, when you're coming home. I read a book once where dogs would sense like you would be maybe a mile away or something that you were coming home.
yeah.
And then they knew that. And then they were waiting. They watched them wait at the door because they knew they were coming home. It was amazing. They had like time after time that this happened
Yeah.
with different animals. And I thought, wow, it's so that's why I kind of mean like we underestimate their abilities
Oh,
sometimes
yeah.
because like, that was an example.
Oh, yeah. I think it's like a mile away. They can hear. I don't know if it's a hear or a smell or a combination, but They can smell. So when we leave, when we're at our house, we smell, say, 100%. You leave, and over a period of hours, your smell dissipates. So if you came home, went to work at 9 and came home at 5, there's a certain smell at 5 o'clock, they say, that maybe it's only 20% of your smell. When you get to there, they start looking for you as well. They know this is about the time when you come home. That's something we don't do at all. And I remember reading that somewhere. And I watch, I'm watching dogs, but I have a dog that when his owner drops him off, he always smells the handle. And then he checks throughout the day the handle on the door to see if the owner has come. We'll go for a walk, come back. He'll sniff the owner. And same when he sniff the handle for the owner. Even when I drop him off at his house, he sniffs the handle. And if the owner's upstairs, he knows it because he's touched it. It's crazy. I've even found when I walked my previous dog, near Salem State where my husband worked, I thought he recognized the car, but I think he smells Matt. The car's parked. And he walks up to it and he's smelling all around and he's like getting excited because we leave our scent everywhere. It's a whole world we don't live in, and don't understand. But it's incredible to me what they know. So.
Yeah, because especially
fully use all your senses. Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, we don't use them all.
We don't, right. Nor do we. Yeah, we smell something, but we don't fully embrace. Like we don't shut down the other senses and just fully embrace that one sense.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and they live in that world of sensatory. So yeah, incredible.
Yeah, and cats too. I found. I read stuff when I don't understand what they're doing, but people will say when they've gone on vacation, they come back and their cat ignores them, like the cat's mad at them, right? So I'm like, well, this cat loves you, right? So it's not mad, but you left and then you came back and you smell different. So it's not that they know it's you, but something's not you. So after you've been home for a while, that other smell dissipates and then your smell, and then they come over to you. So, again, this is all scientific.
Yep.
Yeah.
For like an hour, she's like, no, you're not allowed to leave. I'm not talking to you.
I know, right? So I don't know if that's true, but that's what I read. And I was like, that does kind of make sense because when I come in, people, my sound, I'm talking to the owner. So the cats sometimes run. They've never met me. I smell different. After a while, they'll come out. But when the owner's gone, I usually have to come in very quietly, not to scare the cat with my voice. And I've used different scents like Rescue Remedy or even catnip so that I'm not so offensive when I come in. Because they do, a lot of animals, it's through their nose, not their sight. So if I come in quietly like that with a scent and don't say a word, usually cats are so darn curious, they can't help but come out. They sneak around and it's weird. They'll sniff every part of me. I've got a woman that has 4 cats. So I just come in, sit down, and they all 4 come out of nowhere and just slowly, scan me with their nose. And then they kind of rub, when a cat rubs against you and wants pets. And it's okay, I'm accepted. So, yeah, it's a whole world we don't live in.
Cats leave their scent around your house, or around the house.
Oh, yeah.
So I think, like sometimes when our cats rubbing against us, maybe they're leaving their scent on us too. I don't know.
It is. I think it's another way of marking. They, they mark the furniture. They also like the way it feels. But yes, I think that's, they're marking you as theirs in ownership there. So, but yeah, it's fascinating. So cats are a little harder to decipher because they're more independent. But again, I just sit there and watch them, and I can figure out, how to get them to either come to me or trust me. Trust is a huge thing with strange animals. Your cats trust you, but to get them to come to me, I've got to do a head count when I'm there. So I need to see that everybody's okay. But coming in loud, I know doesn't work. Moving slowly for a lot of cats helps. And so just trying to, it's kind of a goal of mine when people say, oh, they'll hide the whole time you're here. Like, ooh, I love the challenge. Let me see if I can get them out. So, and probably 90% of the time I can if I have a few days with a cat. So yeah,
Very interesting.
they're fascinating creatures.
Yeah. Very interesting.
Too bad we can't have a podcast where you could ask the animals what they think.
I know.
If you think of, because they're watching us and trying to figure us out, because they don't speak our language, but they learn our language and they learn our movements. But it'd be interesting to see if they could tell us something. So,
It'd
so
be
maybe
great.
next time.
We'll work on that one.
Yeah, if you could.
Oh, it's very nice.
So yeah.
Do you have anything else you'd like to add?
Oh well, I wanted Dugan to say hello. Dugan,
Oh, good.
where are you, Dugan? You want a treat? You can always get Dugan with a treat. Here he comes. Dugan, you want to say hi to the Lauries? Let's see. The only thing is I don't know where the camera is, so.
You can see them.
Oh, you can see him? Yep. All right, sit. You want to shake? Shake. All right, you want to spin around? Spin around. Sit. Up. Good boy. I need to teach him more stuff because he really likes to learn, you know. But yeah, he might be my favorite. He's a really sweet dog. He's my assistant, so.
I didn't know he could do all those tricks.
Yeah, I'm teaching him a few more, like to weave, and I kind of wonder if we underestimate how much they can learn. You know, we're busy every day. Even I'm busy, and I spend every day with him. But you know, mental stimulation is good for all of us. So he really loves to learn. Like when I bring out the treat jar, he comes running and like, what can I do? Sometimes he just starts doing them all without me saying anything. Trying to figure out which one I want today. He's a clever little dog, so. Yeah, he's a good boy. But yeah, no, this has been fun. I love talking about dogs, so.
Well, so many of us have companions, you know, that are animal companions that we love. And so this is a great conversation, and especially what you were talking about was the communication, and really appreciate you can see the joy in your face when you talk about it. So it's so good. I'm so glad that you're perfect for what you're doing because you love it and you study it and the animals love you. And
Yeah, it's
thank you
fun
for
how it
knowledge.
works out, you know? When you're not looking for something, then it finds you, and then, you know, again, I got to work on appreciating it every day, you know, but they're
We all
teaching
do.
me. I'm learning, right, Dugan?
Oh, well, do you have anything else to add?
Um, no, well, I think we've said a lot, but yeah, make sure to spend time with your dog. You know, life is short. I think I had a little saying that life is short, play with your dog. But life is short, and you know, they're fun to be around. So don't get too busy to just sit with them or communicate with them, pet them. You know, my husband sometimes forgets to play with Dugan. I'm like, play with him. It's so good for your soul. Just to spend a few minutes, they're so happy. You know, it's like playing with kids or, you know, a cat, like I said, sitting on my lap, or I sometimes get them climbing on my shoulder. It's a wonderful feeling. You just have to make sure you make time for them. So, because they want it. You're everything to them.
If somebody was looking for a sitter, how would they be able to contact you?
I've obviously got a website. It's Professional Pet Services. It's, let's see, petsofsalem.com is the website. And you can, you know, there's like a little application you can fill out. And then I usually set an appointment and meet your pet, and hopefully it all works out. And then off we go.
Great.
So thank you.
That's great. Thank you. We love our furry friends.
I know. And it's so fun to talk to humans today. So this is very exciting.
That's great. And if you've liked this conversation as much as we have, please like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, how is your intuition leading you to the next perfect step?